Chancellor Merkel, Mr. Grillo, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for that kind introduction. And thank you, Chancellor Merkel, for your enlightened leadership, not just in Germany, but around the world. I'm honored to be joining you for this day of German industry. Though for my family, as for so many families around the world, every day is a day of German industry. From cars to chemicals, electronics to appliances, your manufacturing makes the world better. German brands are at the forefront of sectors, from banking to health. And German research and development is fueling the advances of tomorrow, unleashing the promise of the fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0. This exciting new era will be characterized by intelligent machines, smart factories, smart systems, smart products, and the Internet of Things. It's a brave new world, and German industry is already at the vanguard, expanding the frontiers of human achievement, making history by shaping the future. And yet, sometimes it seems that our moral progress has not kept pace with technological progress. In a world that puts a premium on fast, are we forgetting how to feel? We can't get enough of connectivity, but what about human connection? Our world has grown closer, but in worrisome ways, our global family is pulling apart. And that's why there's another revolution I want to talk about today. I'm calling it Empathy 4.0, and I want you to help make it real. I spoke about the power of empathy when I visited Berlin last year and had the privilege of joining Chancellor Merkel at the Walter Rathenau Prize ceremony. I spoke about how both our countries were setting an example by empathizing with the suffering of refugees and hoped we would inspire others to follow suit. But we've faced real hurdles. Barely 1 year later, there have been over 90 terrorist attacks around the world, too many perpetrated in the name of Islam, though there is nothing remotely Islamic about these murderers. From cafes to markets, hotels to places of worship, they've brought bloodshed from the battlefield to our doorsteps. They're not just breaching national boundaries, but the personal boundaries of our daily lives. When French families watching fireworks by the seaside are a target, when Iraqis praying in a mosque are a target, when passengers riding a German train are a target, how can any of us feel safe? The result is a kind of collective trauma in Germany, Jordan, and everywhere. And it's a natural human reaction. Our brains are designed so that fear outweighs everything else. But when our brains are flooded with fear, it gets harder for us to think rationally. It prompts us to turn inward. And just as alarming, it raises the risk of us turning against one another. Because the more suspicious and mistrustful we feel, the easier it is for demagogues to rise. We start paying attention to people who offer simplistic answers to complex questions, to people who stoke and encourage our fears instead of rallying our unity and strength. We're seeing that phenomena in many countries, and perhaps it isn't surprising. But if we let the terrorists drive us apart, we are waging their battle for them. Now is the time for us all to pull together and stand as one. Remember, our values, our principles, and our ideals are more powerful than those of our foes. Let us embrace the basic truth of your basic law. Human dignity shall be inviolable. Our world has always been at its best when good people work for dignity together. Global cooperation and global trust are key pillars of global progress, whether we're tackling poverty or public health, climate change or conflict. Those same values must animate our response to refugees. Because when we think about refugees, The vast majority are good people, people who are fleeing violence in their homelands, not trying to bring violence to ours. Here in Germany, I've heard about refugees volunteering in assisted living facilities, because as one young man put it, in Syria, it's common for the young to help the elderly. I've heard about dozens of local fire departments that have been bolstered by refugees, about refugees developing apps and studying astronomy, feeding the homeless, and playing music that lifts the spirits of everyone who listens. And in order to lead in these turbulent times, these are the kinds of stories we should amplify. These are the stories that should fill our Twitter feeds and fuel what I call Empathy 4.0. But Empathy 4.0 isn't soft, nor is it content with the status quo. It draws on the boldness and bias for action that characterize your work as business leaders. Because the refugee crisis is both a byproduct of our interconnected world and a test of its durability. And how we choose to deal with it now will resonate for decades to come. We can let this crisis polarize our politicians and populations, tear us apart, and make us retreat, something that will come at a high cost to human progress and to our experience of the world around us. Or we can find a way to deal effectively with this new global reality and make it work for everyone, recognizing that the crisis is about more than refugees. It's about our common future. I'm very proud of both our countries and our citizens for all they have already done. Germany and Jordan have taken in more than 1 million people each, opening our neighborhoods, our means, and our hearts to offer support and safe haven. But it won't be enough. The refugee crisis demands more sustainable solutions, because current approaches depend almost entirely on humanitarian aid, which leads to donor fatigue. In Jordan, every 7th person is a Syrian refugee. We're doing everything we can to share, but we've reached a breaking point. Our resilience and our resources are stretched thin. We need a new approach that is centered on growth and investment. It's time to reboot the world's approach to refugees with Empathy 4.0. As a German aid worker in Jordan once said, there is a unique opportunity to bring in different thinking and different concepts. It could happen if the global community shifted from simply providing food and shelter to camps and used this moment to spark economic development, creating more opportunity for everyone. That is the aim of the Jordan Compact we launched earlier this year. Over the next 3 years, we've pledged to create more jobs for Syrian refugees. But providing more jobs requires an infusion of job-generating investments, because it cannot come at the cost of Jordanian jobs. And this is where all of you come in, where you can help make history in real time. Together, we can create economic opportunities that help refugees become self-supporting, while helping my country emerge stronger from this crisis, rather than weakened by it. Jordan has designated 18 special economic zones that employ both Syrians and Jordanians. Not only are we strategically located on the new Silk Road as a gateway from Europe to Asia, but we're offering extremely attractive incentives to any companies that invest, including preferential access to most global markets and a new agreement with the EU that offers better terms for Jordanian products. With our productive labor force and highly favorable business environment, Jordan can be a perfect place to grow and develop your business as a manufacturing base and outsourcing center, a distribution and assembly platform, or a back office and consulting hub. Opportunities are ripe and ready to be seized in free trade access manufacturing, construction, professional and engineering services, information technology, healthcare and pharmaceuticals, and much, much more. If we get this right, we can turn a problem into a shared success. And we can get this right, especially if this audience gets involved. The potential is huge, but the stakes are too, and we don't have a minute to waste. So I'm asking you all to use this moment to stand for something truly disruptive. Make this an era of reinvention, not only for the private sector, but for humanity. Reach beyond the Internet of Things to revolutionize the interconnectedness of people. Prove that Empathy 4.0 means action, innovation, and results. And let this day of German industry help to usher in a new dawn of hope. Thank you all very much.